Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Live for Love TV.
Hello, everybody. My name is Caleb, and you're watching Live for Love TV. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Welcome back to Live for Love TV. Today is the 26th day of the 10th month of the 23rd years out of the 21st century. Hope everyone's doing extremely well out there. Well, today as I'm contemplating a nice evening, I was thinking about two words that are very important, I think, to myself, especially to most people who are watching as well. As time goes on, as you get older, sorry, excuse me for the background sounds, but you're going to hear a lot of that. You're going to hear a lot of background sounds because we're outside and the wind's blowing and the bikes are moving and the trucks are moving. But anyway, two words that I find very interesting as I get older. One is illusion and the other is delusion. Now you can look up those two words in the dictionary. I have never looked them up in the dictionary. So I'm going to give you a layman, street man, bro understanding of the way I understand those two words. To me, the illusion is when you see something before your face, before your eyes, but it's not what you think it is. It's not as it appears. That's an illusion to me. Often you get what do you call it? Magicians creating illusions. They're showing you things that you know is not as it is. You just know it's not, but you're seeing it and you're watching it. Delusion to me is when you're sort of inside the illusion, believing the illusion, and you end up deluding yourself, believing that it's real, and you actually act on that belief that it's real, and then you go forward from there. So there's illusion and delusion. Now I use the word illusion because I believe the world that we're living in is an illusionary world. I believe that almost nothing that you see is as it appears. And I think as long as man has been on earth, he's come up against this, and he's going to always come up against it. For some reason, I don't know. We're hearing all sorts of things nowadays about dimensions and matrix and seeing through this and that. I don't know. Even if you go back in the thousands of years to the Hindu books, you'll see them talking about Maya, which is like this is a dream world. Nothing is as it seems. It's an illusionary world, and I agree, not necessarily with the books or with the scientists, but I definitely believe we're in an illusion. We're seeing illusion on a daily basis. But the more frightening thing is that people believe in the illusion and they put all sorts of beliefs to that illusion, and they end up deluding themselves, and they're now in delusion. I believe that's true of most of the belief systems in the world that people are hanging on to. I believe they're deluded. I believe they're in a delusion, and they keep talking about something's going to happen, and this is going to happen, and that's going to happen. And it goes on and on and on and on, generation after generation, and the delusion is passed from generation to generation. Yes, there's an illusion, in my humble opinion, but you don't have to believe it. You can operate in this world even while the illusion is there. If you were in, let's say, a desert, and you start to see things, as long as you remind yourself that until I taste water, I'm not going to believe that's a river over there, so I'm going to keep moving forward. That's a way to understand that there are illusions that are going to happen to you in that environment, especially in that mindset and in the heat. You're going to come up against illusions and think that things are real, and they call them mirages. But so long as you keep moving forward on your destination, there's no problem. The problem is if you actually get deluded and believe 100% that is a river over there, and that all you have to do is get to it, and as you get to it, all your problems are over, then that delusion is going to actually help to destroy you and actually break down your spirit and break down your inner being and break down the inner man and the inner woman. So delusion is a very bad thing. I think most of us in the world are deluded by one thing or another, and I can definitely say, as a youngster growing up, maybe not as a very, very young, because when you're very young, you sort of know you're in illusion without even knowing it. But as years go on and you become an adolescent, a teenager, and you grow up, I got into the delusion, and I started to believe some of the things that people used to tell me, and got into the belief systems, and one belief system after another, and I look back now and I think, wow, what a delusion. What a delusion. And some of the people are still in them, but they're still telling you the same things. They've not been able to see that because the world is illusory, and we can't always know how the magician is doing what he's doing. So long as we know it's not possible what he's actually making us try to believe, then we're okay. When he pulls, certain things out of a hat, or he does certain magic tricks, so long as we recognize that it's not possible, he's not God, he's not some wizard that can do anything and create things and change things from one thing to another. So long as we don't ever believe that, we're going to be okay. We will never be able to. We'll never worship the magician. We'll never worship the magician's ways, and we'll never be fooled. We just don't know how he does it. So it's still an illusion to us. Maybe when we get to find out what something is, we can say that's no longer an illusion. But when it comes to this world as a whole, there's lots of things that are still illusions to us and to many people. And you just go on YouTube and hear all the different belief systems, all the different things that come out every minute. If somebody says, we're in three dimensions, sooner or later somebody starts saying you can jump to fourth dimension, you can jump to the fifth dimension, you can get to the ninth dimension. People, anything that one person says, somebody's going to say something different in order to get more views, and then they're going to come out with the universe and the multiverse and it's all this sort of stuff. And they tell you time's an illusion. Well, time's not real. It's an illusion. Well, as I said, everything's an illusion. If time's an illusion, then also the place that we are is also an illusion. It has to be, because you can't really separate time and place. You can't separate time. If people try to make it something you can talk about time without place, the reason why we've created time is so that we can move from one part of the room to another. So if I move from one part of my front room to another part of my front room, it takes me 1 second. That's why you need time to go along with space. Space is where your place is. So time, if time's an illusion, then the place that we are right now is also an illusion. And most people can accept that time is probably an illusion that we've made up ourselves. But for some reason, people can't accept that we've made up the space because it seems so real to us. Of course, it will seem real. If we're going to make up something that's going to fool us, even us with our brain, it'd have to be realer than real, surely. People are doing it now with games, AI games, where people say, "Oh, it's so real. It's as if you're in the game." And so I've never played any games, but they talk like this, and you listen to them and you think, well, of course, whoever's making these games up, I've got to make it as real as if you're in that game, or you almost lose yourself that you can't believe it's not real. How else would the game be of any use if you could actually see through it? So it's the same with the world in which we live. I'm only bringing up these points because I think life is not as difficult as we make it out if we recognize the illusion. We recognize it's an illusion, then life's not as difficult. But if we start to think that this is real, then we become deluded, and we're in that deluded state. And from that point onwards, life becomes a real nightmare. Everything becomes a problem. Everything, that which is natural to human beings, such as DEATH, is as natural to human beings as being born. Death is not the opposite to life. Death is the opposite to birth. Remember that. Don't let anybody confuse you. It's not life and death. Death is actually a part of life. So if you're looking for opposites, death is an opposite to birth. It's not an opposite to life, because death is part of life. There's never been any life that doesn't involve death. Don't let anybody fool you, and it'll always be so, because that's part of what life is. You understand? So that's as I said, that's the delusion that we're all under. We start believing things that people are telling us, and we start creating opposites that are not opposites. Birth and death are opposites to one another, not life and death. Anyway, a quick touching base with you this day, and hope everyone's doing extremely well out there, as I said earlier on the point. And don't let the illusion get you carried away and start working off it. And next minute you're deluded, and now you've got problems and stresses and all kind of things. The stresses you have, they're illusionary, delusionary. So don't worry about them. Take care. Live for Love TV.
People, one step more, one step more, one step more, one step more, until you reach your goals. One step more. This is